Heyo everyone! Today let's sit down, look at Warlord balancing and optimizations for Season 4 of Conqueror's Blade. Alright, let's get into it with the change to all the Warlords coming in Season 4. So they noticed in the previous season that Warlords were able to stack damage bonus effects to the point where you actually could exaggerate the effect and do way more damage than you were supposed to. So for Season 4, they did a balance by making a cap. So the total damage bonus that you can get from a critical, headshot, backstab, altitude, all that cannot exceed 250% of the damage. So they're just trimming off that top to make sure that no effect can exaggerate to the point where it's over the top. So this should help a lot with getting those instant kills that really were not intended from stacked effects. So right away, we're going to go into Poleaxe next. The big thing with Poleaxe that was changed for Season 4 is the Weapon Dance skill. They noticed no one was really using it because the cooldown was long. It really didn't do a lot of damage or have a lot of power to it. So they went and added some adjustments that sound really nice. They're increasing the attack range of the Weapon Dance. They also are having it where after the skill hits, the target will actually now face the attacker. So this is going to add a bit of a disruption whenever you use it against an opponent. Also, on top of that, when it hits an enemy, the attack power reduced debuff is going to last 2 seconds longer. So you're getting that extra time from it. The cooldown has also been reduced. Tier 1 is 24 seconds, Tier 2 is 20 seconds, and Tier 3 is 16 seconds. Overall, it sounds like the Weapon Dance is going to get a nice little buff, and we'll have to see, though, whether or not that makes it justifiable to take. Bow is probably the biggest change coming in Season 4. Now Bow will actually have to charge your attacks if you want full benefits. So right away, they went ahead and specified a certain range skills will consume stamina as they're charging. So you're going to have to pay attention to stamina a lot more than before. And when you left click, the stamina will be consumed when the arrow charges as well. So it's going to be a stamina game. You're going to have to pay attention to your stamina and figure out when it's worthwhile to charge up a shot to get its maximum effect. So when you are charging, though, they are not going to reduce your movement speed. You're not going to be slowed down like before. And they are going to take the time that it takes to create a half-charged arrow and increase the duration it takes. So we'll have to see what the total charge duration is when Season 4 comes out. The skill Rain of Arrow, Flaming Arrow, Bodkin Tipped, and Lightning Bolt have all been altered to have the charge effect. And when you charge, you are straightening the trajectory and increasing the damage that it will deal. Explosive Arrow kind of took the back seat this time and will not get the increased damage from charging, but you do get the straighter trajectory with it. So it is justifiable to charge when you need to get that snipe with your Explosive Arrow. They did go ahead, though, and reduce the damage by 50% on Explosive Arrow. So Explosive Arrow is really taking a backseat this season with the reduced damage on it and the fact that we'll not get the benefit of charging for damage increase. When you're using your left click, the longer you charge, as we mentioned, the straighter trajectory and the more damage it will deal. Apart from Explosive Arrow, when you do your charge, you're going to get 50% piercing damage with a no charge, 80% piercing damage with a half charge, but 110% piercing damage if you fully charge the ability or your attack. When you're using Lightning Bolt, charging will also impact the amount of pierces it gets. If you do not charge Lightning Bolt, you get no pierce. Half charge gets you 2 targets to pierce, and full charge will pierce up to 5 targets. So it's definitely going to be worthwhile for Lightning Bolt when you're up against a unit group to get that full charge off. I also noticed that Bodkin Tipped 3 was not correctly functioning and was not reducing the enemy's block correctly. So they have adjusted that, and now it should reduce the block correctly when you use your Bodkin Tip. So Bow, like I said, is the biggest change. You're going to be shifting things up now with having to worry about your stamina and figuring out when it's justifiable to fully charge your attacks to get maximum damage and the straightest shot, or when you might have to take that sacrifice to get the quick shots. Next, big adjustment is done to Nodachi. So Nodachi, they noticed that It was mainly designed to rely on your stealing of health to stay on the front lines and keep fighting. And with that, they made a huge adjustment to the way that Nodachi is going to heal. So, one of the big changes is Bloodlust. Bloodlust is going to gain 3% life drain and it will be able to stack up to 5 times. When you get to 5 stacks, it will turn into Bloodbath. And if you already have Bloodbath, so you get your 5 stacks, but you already have Bloodbath, you will just refresh the cooldown and timer on Bloodbath. Once it turns into Bloodbath, you actually get up to 25% life drain, and you get an additional 15% piercing and slashing armor penetration. So that'll give you a huge ability to stay in the fray, do a bunch of damage, and get that life drain to keep going. Now, this Bloodbath ability cannot stack, and it will last 8 seconds. So you're going to have to stack your Bloodlust back up, try to refresh that 8 seconds, or just gain the Bloodbath ability back again. Now, what you can also do is use your Blood Heal to consume Bloodbath. So this will kind of be a timing thing. If you can get like 4 stacks of Bloodlust, pop Blood Heal, and then trigger your Bloodbath again by getting the 5th stack, this could be a really nice synergy between these abilities that we have to figure out. But what that Blood Heal will do is if you sacrifice your Bloodbath, you can then use Blood Heal and gain 1500 health per second. Now this cannot stack and it will last up to 4 seconds. So that is 6,000 health over 4 seconds. So a fairly strong heal ability. And it'll be interesting to see once again how that synergy works between Bloodlust stacking to trigger Bloodbath to then sacrificing that Bloodbath to Blood Heal. So I'll be curious to see how quickly you can gain back that Bloodlust and kind of keep feeding that Bloodbath to your Blood Heal. So really cool changes. They also did add to Samurai's March 3 a increase to the block break. So for Spear, which is the last one that got adjusted this season, Spear's Procris Gift 3 skill, it can ignore enemies' defenses when kicking it. That meant that if warlords were protected by like shield units, they could actually still be hit. And they really didn't want this to happen. When someone's sitting inside a shield wall or a bunch of shield units, they really should not be able to be reached by conventional means. So what they did is they actually adjusted Procris Gift 3 to where instead of ignoring defenses, it's now going to reduce the target's block. So we'll no longer, as Spear users, be able to harass people as much when they're inside shield units, trying to stop their heal by stunning them with Procris Gift and impacting that heal. But we'll still get a pretty good response from Procris Gift since it will reduce the target's block capability. So that should be a really nice trade-off. Kind of a shame as a main Spear user. I really like to use Procris Gift to kind of harass people behind lines. We'll see how well it goes. So all of these changes that have been adjusted will be reviewed kind of throughout the season, and they may have to tweak it. So let me know down below in the comments, what changes do you think are good? What don't you like? What do you think is going to end up happening with some of these warlords? Are they going to be played less, played more? Are you thinking about switching, or are you really glad that they gave a buff towards your warlord? Let me know down below and we'll see what happens. I hope, though, that this video helped you as we looked through the different changes to Warlords in Season 4. If you want to keep the conversation going, join the Discord, or you can catch me at one of my Twitch streams at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Till next time, I hope to see you on the battlefield.
Oh my gosh!